On my Kindle, I've been reading a book that is full of important principles I want to learn. But I don't know if I'll be able to remember any of them. In fact, I don't even know if I'll be able to finish the book because it literally puts me to sleep. Just yesterday, I tried 2 different times to finish chapter 9. I still haven't finished it, but it did help me kick off a great nap and get a full night of sleep. The problem is, the book is too dry. There is very little in it that is memorable or entertaining. What's missing are real stories. As a leader, you need to be able to communicate purpose, vision, values, and more in a way that causes people to pay attention and remember. And telling stories is one of the best ways to do that. But as this book shows, some leaders don't know how to use a story to bring a concept to life. Let me give you an example. One of the important principles in this book is this: to create more engaged employees, leaders need to capture hearts as well as minds. Next, the book provides a case study, a story that is supposed to illustrate the point about capturing hearts and minds. The CEO of a certain company realized he needed to communicate a message of significance soon after joining the company. The business had lost its way, he says. We were internally focused and too siloed. Everyone had their own process and way of doing things. We didn't have a strong focus on our customers or the external market. That's the whole case study. But it really doesn't illustrate the how or why of capturing hearts and minds. The authors try to tell a story, but there aren't enough details to make it concrete. We know a little about what the CEO is thinking, but we don't know the specifics of what anyone did before, during, or after the change. To use a story to teach or reinforce a concept, be sure that the story not only instructs, but also entertains. It's this entertainment part of the equation that causes people to pay attention, remember, and take action. In other words, it makes the story stick. Now, how do you make your story entertain? Well, you can include devices like surprise and humor, but the most basic thing to include is details. Details are about specific people doing specific things. Another way to look at it is to make sure that your story includes both the forest and the trees. I love the way executive coach Tom Henschel explains. Don't hover over the forest telling us about the landscape. He says, bring us down onto the forest floor so we can enter the landscape. Give us the leaves and the trees and the roots. Details of what people did, said, and felt. That pulls us into the story. Details are the basic necessity for making a story entertaining. Just make sure the specifics that you share have a purpose. They should connect and lead us to the story's outcome or instructional point. When I wanted to tell you about how leaders can use stories that cause people to pay attention and remember, I told you about falling asleep twice while reading chapter 9. But I didn't tell you what I ate for dinner between those events because that detail didn't contribute to the story's outcome or point. So, to make your idea stick, tell a story that not only instructs but entertains. And the most basic way to entertain is to include relevant details. Tell us about the trees, not just the forest. In my next video, I'll share a more advanced model for creating more powerful stories that stick. I'm Jesse Leahy from EngagingLeader.com.